Hey y'all, I'm Carolina Tony. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Now, I don't do a whole lot of cooking videos, but today I am. And my wife is going to show you how to cook one of my favorite foods, and that is okra. And she does it a very special way. And we are going to show you how to do that step by step right after this station identification.
Hi everybody. As Tony said, one of his favorite foods is okra. Another one of them is collards, and it is a labor of love to kind of fix okra and collards. But we're going to do this special today to show you how I do it. We, in the past, have fried okra in a black cast iron frying pan, but I've learned to cook it a little differently. And so we're going to show you how I do it. So the first thing we want to talk about is selecting your okra. I like small, tender pods of okra. So that is a good size there. You may get some larger size okra. Sometimes those can be hard. And if you start to cut into your okra and you notice that it is hard to slice, then that okra is not going to be any good. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I just take a regular paring knife and I slice the very tip of the okra off there, and as well as the other tip, just the little tip of the okra. And then I will slice it into little pods. You've noticed that I have sliced up most of the okra and I saved a few pods to do it. So we slice it in little round disc about this size. And depending on how long your okra is going to depend on how many slices you're going to get out of a pod of okra. But before you slice it, you need to make sure that you wash it really good. And what I like to do is I'll wash my okra and then I will put it on a dish towel and let it dry out a little bit before I slice it. That does help with some of the sliminess that I think people associate with okra, and they don't like to eat the slimy part of the okra. So it does help with that. So you're just gonna slice that into little round disc, and doesn't take very long. Now okra, it will look like when you buy okra, it will look like you have a fairly good amount of okra. You can see this container of okra that I have already cut up, and it's going to look like you have a good amount of okra. However, when you cook it up, when you cook the okra, it is going to shrink and you're not going to have as much as you think you do.
And that's 1.5 pounds of okra, by the way. I bought it at the farmer's market.
So you can see that most of these pods here have sliced really easy. I have not found any of these particular pods that are, and also when you slice it, this is a good one here. Well, it's not a good one. But if you'll notice, when I slice it, you can hear it a little more crunchy. If you hear that, I don't know if you can hear it on the screen or not. But when you do that, that okra might not be as good as normal. Now this one is not bad, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. But if you get one when you slice it and it's hard to slice through, or you hear crunchiness, like this is a little like that, you might not want to use that particular pod of okra.
I think tender is the word you're looking for.
Tender. Yeah, tender is a good word. Be careful not to cut your finger when you're doing that as well. So that is 1.5 pounds of okra. So next what I do, I found that this is a little easier. You don't have to stand at your stove and continually stir your okra. So I found this method is just a little easier to do, and that is we're going to do it in the oven. So I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and I'm going to take this container of okra and I'm just going to spread it out on my cookie sheet. And as much as you can, try to spread it into a single layer. And you're going to spread it out really well. And then okra requires a good bit of salt in order for it to be tasty. So you're going to have salt and you're going to have pepper. And you're also going to use, I use vegetable oil. You could use canola oil. I haven't really used olive oil, so I'm not really sure how that would do. Most of the time I do use vegetable oil. So we're going to salt and pepper. And again, we're going to put a good amount of pepper, salt, I'm using salt. Good amount of salt on our okra. And we're also going to use pepper on that as well. Not as much pepper as you would need salt, but a fair amount. You use it to your taste. And then we're going to sprinkle the vegetable oil on top of the okra.
Sprinkle.
Yeah, well, we're going to pour it. And just kind of...
Drizzle.
Drizzle. Yeah, there's a good word. So we're just going to kind of drizzle your olive oil. I would say that's probably a couple of tablespoons of oil on the okra. And then what I do next is I just take my spatula and I kind of make sure that my okra is coated with my vegetable oil. And then I spread it out.
So it's very little vegetable oil, but you are getting just a little bit on all the pods.
Yeah.
So in essence, this should be a whole lot healthier for you because you're not immersing it in oil, right?
Yeah, you're not drowning it in your oil. A lot of people will take okra and they will bread it with cornmeal and things like that. We don't particularly like okra that's that way. That would be more like the okra that you're going to get out of the grocery store. And so this is just going to be plain, naked okra with just vegetable oil, salt, and pepper. And then you're going to put it in your oven at 400 degrees, and it will probably take at least 40 to 45 minutes to cook it. But you do need to check it periodically and stir the okra up. And so we're going to put it in the oven. And I just put it in the middle shelf there. And that's it for right now. We'll come back later, check it, and I'll stir it for you. And I'll show you the process during. So we'll be back shortly. Okay, it's been 15 minutes since we put it in the oven, and I'm going to take it out and give it a stir, and then we'll put it back in the oven. And so come with me and we'll see what it looks like. You see it sizzling just like it's supposed to be. You can see some of the edges, like right there, are starting to turn dark. That's how we like okra. We like it a little on the crispy size. So all I'm doing now is I'm just kind of scraping it up and turning it. And we're going to turn it, and we're going to, kind of see on the underside of where I just took it up, some of those edges are starting to turn crispy. Right at this point, the okra is still slimy, okay? And so we want to cook it until the slime is gone. And I think that's what a lot of people dislike about okra, is that it's slimy. And you can also see when we first spread the okra out, it pretty much will fill this whole pan. Now it's getting smaller and smaller, so you'll see you think that you've got a lot of okra to start with, but it's going to reduce down quite a bit and you're not going to have as much as you think. So be careful when you're buying your okra pods that you get enough for your family, because you will think you've got a lot and then it's going to shrink down and you're not going to end up as much as you think you have. So we're going to put it back in the oven and we're going to check it again in about 15 more minutes. It has been 10 more minutes. We're going to take it out of the oven and see how we're cooking. All right, we're getting there. You see some of these pieces are charred, and that's exactly how we want them. Cook this in the cast iron frying pan, you're going to get basically the same effect. However, you're going to be standing at your stove stirring this okra when you cook it in the oven, so you have time to do whatever you need to do. So you see the okra is getting, our pile of okra is getting smaller and smaller. So what started out with a whole sheet pan of okra, now we're reduced to about half. So this okra was very tender, so it's been 25 minutes. So I checked it, this is after another 10 minutes, so it's been 25 minutes. So this okra's probably going to be done. I'm going to check it in another 10 minutes and it should be just perfect. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. We're going to check the okra to see how we're doing. It's probably going to be done. So I put it in, I checked it at 15 minutes, I checked it at 10 minutes, and then I checked it at 5 minutes. So we're talking about 30 minutes total cook time. So let's see how it looks. Perfect. Now, I will have to say that everybody's doneness and taste is going to be different. We like our okra a little on the charred side. You may not like yours like that. So you would cook it to the desired doneness that would suit you and your family. The longer you cook it, the less slimy the okra will be. And so that's the reason why we cook it this long.
So there's no slime.
There's no slime in this okra at all now.
But I'm afraid it's cooked down enough where it doesn't look like there's any left for you.
No, you see now we've gone from a whole sheet pan, then we went to a half sheet pan, and now we're actually down to probably a fourth to a third. So you see it does cook down quite a bit.
Okay, so it's time to taste it.
Okay, our okra is done, and you'll see we started with this size of container when we uncooked okra, and now we have reduced it to this size. So it does shrink up quite a bit. So this was a pound and a half of okra, and we went from this size container to this size container. So quite a bit difference. But I'm gonna let Tony taste it.
I can't get it on a spoon. Dang, it doesn't get any better than that. Excellent. No slime, not greasy in the least little bit. So I would say, good job, Debbie.
Thank you.
All right, well, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you did, you give it a try. And until next time, y'all have a good day.